Hi there, and welcome to our series on basic food safety presented by Sirius SA. Today we will be looking at food safety hazards, and we will be asking three questions. Firstly, what is a food safety hazard? Secondly, where do hazards come from, and how can we control hazards? Remember to complete the quiz and fill out the training register as proof of training once you have listened to the presentation. Right. Firstly, what is a food safety hazard? Now, firstly, the word hazard means danger, anything that is dangerous. So, the definition for a food safety hazard is any biological, chemical, or physical agent in food that has the potential to cause harm to the health of the consumer. Note here that we say biological, chemical, or physical. So all food safety hazards can be categorized into either one of these three categories: biological, chemical, or physical. And for something to be a food safety hazard, it must have the potential to cause harm to the health of the consumer. So, for instance, it can injure you or it can make the consumer sick, some form of health hazard for the consumer. Let's firstly look at biological food safety hazards, and these would include your spoilage or disease-causing microorganisms that can contaminate the food product. Spoilage or disease-causing microorganisms can spoil food. It can reduce the shelf life of a product. It can even make you sick, and it will result in customer complaints. Think of that moldy piece of cheese that you can't eat, or that moldy fruit that you have to throw away. The same with bad smelling milk that has gone off. All of these are examples of where microorganisms have actually spoiled the product. And these are called biological food safety hazards. Chemical food safety hazards. And here we've got two categories. The one is the chemicals that we use for cleaning our equipment in a factory, and the other one is allergens. Let's first look at cleaning chemicals. So we all use cleaning chemicals in our factories to clean our equipment, but sometimes that cleaning agents can end up in the food product and so become a chemical food safety hazard. Allergens are things like peanuts, egg, wheat, and so on that is known for allergic reactions in sensitive consumers. Allergic reactions would include rashes, itching, it can cause swelling, and in severe cases, even death. Physical food safety hazards. That can be any foreign object, like for instance, a piece of plastic, piece of string, bone, or metal that by accident ends up in a food product. And that would be called a physical food safety hazard. Somebody can get injured by biting on a piece of metal. A small child can choke on a piece of plastic that was inside a product. Right, where do hazards come from? Firstly, your biological food safety hazard. These are your spoilage and disease-causing microorganisms. We know microorganisms are everywhere, so it can come from dirty hands, dirty equipment, soil and dust that ends up in the food, dirty water, waste material, wounds and illnesses that carry disease-causing microorganisms, dirty air, or even pests that carry bad microorganisms. Where do chemical hazards come from? Well, if you do not follow the correct cleaning procedure, some of the cleaning chemicals can end up in the product. Using too much cleaning agent will make it difficult for you to rinse it off and will cause some of the cleaning agent to end up in your food product. Or in the case of allergens, not keeping allergens separate from other food products. Where do physical hazards come from? Well, it can often come from plastic, from packaging material, string or cable ties from food ingredients or raw materials that were used, or even metal from worn out equipment. So how can we control these hazards? Firstly, let's look at biological food safety hazards. These are your microorganisms that can spoil your product. Firstly, wash your hands. Secondly, keep equipment clean and clean properly. Wear your PPE correctly as prescribed by your company. Remove waste from your food production area. Keep doors and windows closed to keep out pests and flies and dirty air. Cover cuts and wounds that can carry bad microorganisms that can contaminate the food product. And don't work with food when you are sick. How can we control chemical food safety hazards? Well, firstly, make sure cleaning chemicals are rinsed off properly after you've cleaned. Follow the correct cleaning procedure as prescribed by your company. Dilute chemicals according to the instruction. Remember, by making it stronger, it will not necessarily work more effectively. In the case of allergens, store allergens separately from your other ingredients. Use the correct color cleaning equipment when you clean your area. How can we control physical food safety hazards? Firstly, keep the deboxing or decanting area separate. In that way, you will prevent pieces of plastic boxes ending up in your product. Sift or filter ingredients to remove foreign objects. Check metal equipment for worn parts. Install a metal detector that can pick up if there are any metal pieces in your product. And do regular inspections of your facility for broken items. And that is it. I hope you have a better understanding of food safety hazards. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to test your knowledge with our food safety hazards quiz.